What up? How we doing? How we doing? Let me fix this camera here. You can see more of my greatness. Yo, Alaska, what up? You know, Doge used to always be the first one in the comment section, but you're like the guy every time, especially on YouTube. Yeah. Yo, K10, Alaska. It's a nice break writing a YouTube video script. Okay. Yeah, I seen your channel, man. I gotta check you out. By the way, like all the regulars, Alaska Pirates has a YouTube channel. Y'all should definitely go check it out. In fact, I'm gonna put the link to it in the description of this video once I upload it. I seen you had a channel, bro, and I meant to shout you out one of these times. Let me actually move this fucking mic in front of me. People say holla, right? Yeah, I mean, I do. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's what the cool kids are saying now. I think I've seen it on a TikTok. But, yeah, no problem, man. What's good? What's good? Yeah, so, man, we had some interesting developments today. We got, I found a clip of Tucker Carlson going full on, I don't know, basically full on Q. Pretty much. That was from the other day. I guess I could just completely missed it because of this whole Reddit Wall Street story. And, yeah, gonna go over that. More Marjorie Taylor Greene, absolute madness. And mumbles and things. I meant to make you, mod over on Twitch. Have to do that. I ate 3 gummies. I'm signing up to that. I mean, that's always good. Man, I used to smoke weed when I was like a teenager, but I don't know what it is about like gummies and stuff. Like they give you like a different kind of high. I ate like a half of a pot brownie one time and I couldn't move for like 24 hours. It was pretty bad. So that was like my one experience with that. Just high enough to watch the world crumble. Yeah, that guy Kirby Ferguson who makes them like remix documentaries. He said a thing earlier. He's like, he put out a like an advertisement for a poster. He's like, get yours before the world crumbles. I'm like, how do I get this in 2016, bro? It's already 2021. So, but all right, people are piling in. Everybody's getting in here. Okay, yeah, let's get into it. Let me switch scenes here. Bam. I need to get one of those, what do they call them? One of those Stream Deck things one of these days. But all right, first we gotta talk a little bit about this whole Robinhood, Reddit, Wall Street, collapse of humanity story, because it's a pretty good one. The link to my YouTube and Twitch is in the bio, guys. Yes, screw Robinhood, exactly. If y'all want to come over and kick it. But, so, last night, the CEO of Robinhood went on Chris Cuomo, and it was a pretty cringe interview. Because there is no good excuse here. And I don't even think, like, if Robinhood didn't have any skin in the game, or the people that own Robinhood didn't have any skin in the game, there would be no reason for them to do what they are doing. Because what they are actively doing is just destroying their company. And they're about to go public. And this is not a good move. Whatever they were worth before, you can at least cut that in half now. That's not like, specific numbers, but it's not going to be good. Because a ton of people have already left the app, but a lot of people, like, you can't just, like, if you have a decent amount of money, or if you, like, have money in an account, you can't just, like, up and move it sometimes. You got to close out positions. The app can be kind of buggy sometimes. If you have other positions you don't want to close out right away, they're like, it's more complicated than just bailing. But over these next couple weeks, because of what they've done, people are going to bail. Like, they just are. People are going to bail out of this app. And that's going to be bad for them. Not to mention, Google, just to show you again how much the game is rigged, Google removed 100,000 one-star reviews on their app. Now, that's real people, I'm assuming, real people going to the App Store and expressing how they feel about the app, and they just removed them. So, I mean, if I make an app, I don't think Google's going to do that for me. I would hopefully get more than 1 star, though. But, so all that's going on. But, you know, this guy, this is pretty much the explanation he gave after everything was said and done. He gave this last night, and I don't know. There's just a whole lot of holes in this horseshit story. So we'll check out a little bit of it. He does, yeah, he does. He butters Chris up at the beginning.
Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev. Vlad, thank you for joining us.
Okay, let's just first of all, like, he's got serious Kylo Ren vibes going on, but not like the third movie Kylo Ren where he's good. Like first movie Kylo Ren, you know, like kill
Chris, thank you for having me.
Solo
this is
Kylo
surreal for me. I've been watching your show a lot, especially through this past year.
Well, I appreciate it. Look, you know my audience. This is not an investment show, and I don't think it needs to be. I don't really care about your capital commitments, your liquidity, and what was going on the regulatory side. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But I want you to address the obvious. This looks like a move by an outfit called Robinhood, which is supposed to be taken from the rich and given to the poor, and doing exactly...
More like Robin the Hood, am I right? Ha ha ha. How many times you heard that joke today?
The opposite. That when the big guys, including one of your main investors in your company, started to lose, you shut down the game to starve the little guy. Fair criticism.
True.
That's not what it is at all.
Oh,
and
okay.
I know you started this segment. It really resonated with me because you described the story of Robinhood. Robinhood started 5 years ago by pioneering commission-free, no-account minimum mobile investing, and we've been the spokesperson of the individual investor, and our whole goal as an institution is to enable those customers, empower them, and give them access to the market.
Like, dude, nobody wants to hear your what the goal or your supposed dedication to the investor. We want to hear why this situation happened. You're giving us your little spiel here. You're giving us your life story. We don't care about this. First of all, anybody knows in the tech age, if the product is free, you're the product. You know what I mean? Like, we are the product on Facebook. Robinhood is free unless you get a Robinhood Gold account, but Robinhood is free, so we are the product. So don't act like you care about us. You just want to sell our data to the hedge fund people. That's all. That's your game here. We all know this, or at least some of us do.
Markets, because for the longest time, markets have been only accessible to the wealthy. And so the entire industry adopted our business model in 2019. And in 2020, we added millions of new customers. The entire industry added millions of new customers who took advantage of the market rally and became investors for the very first time. So, you know, we had to make a very difficult decision to protect our customers and our firm.
Why?
But we in no way...
why? Explain why you had to do it if it wasn't to protect the guys who had shorted the stocks, which are the big hedge funds. How are you helping?
And that is the main thing. Like, the little guy in this situation was only betting on GameStop. That was the meme. You know, we're not talking about fundamentals, anything. We're simply talking about why people were, or who was investing on what side. On the side of GameStop is bad, and I don't like the fundamentals, it's a shit stock, was the hedge funds. On the other side of we like the stock, let's take it to the moon, was the little guy. So by limiting people to only sell the stock, all they were trying to do was scare retail investors, us, into selling. That's it. Because people are like, okay, well, jig's up. I guess I got to sell out and, take my rations that I got, my extra shares of rations I got by exploiting the system one time. So the only and that drove the price down. So that made anybody that covered their short position yesterday, instead of having to cover it at $500 a share, which is what the stock was at one point before market open, you know, it got all the way down to $118 a share, I believe, which they liquidated one guy's position at that price. So you see what I mean? So by him cutting it off, that's not helping any of the little investors that, even if they jumped on late, even if they heard about it yesterday and they bought GameStop, by them stopping shares, like that only hurt the retail investor.
The little guy investors.
Well, I know that there's rumors around that, you know, we were directed by market makers or other market participants to do this. And I want to be 100% clear. This decision was not made on the direction of any market maker or other market participants.
So why'd you do it?
Decision. Robinhood, as a brokerage, has lots of financial requirements, SEC requirements. We have to put up money at clearinghouses. The amount of money that we have to put up depends on market volatility, and we're in a historic situation where there's a lot of activity and a lot of buying concentrated in a relatively small number of symbols that are going viral on social media. So we haven't really seen anything like this before, and to prudently manage the risk and the deposit requirements, we had to restrict buying in these 13 stocks, but customers that held them could sell throughout. Thousands of other securities and stocks on our platform were available to freely trade, and our number.
But just like, okay, yeah, nobody cares. Okay, yeah, there's 4,000 other stocks you can trade. That's the point. Like the whole market as a whole is out there, and everybody's killing it on those stocks, and all the hedge funds can gamble on those ones all they want. And there was just a few that they were losing on, that they had happened to bet big on, and those are the ones that you shut down. And I even understand them, like, don't, you know, cut off margin, which, you know, basically usually like margin kind of works like, say you put 20,000 in there, Robinhood will let you borrow. Usually I think that's how Robinhood works. They'll let you borrow. A lot of brokerages do it, but Robinhood does it too. They'll let you borrow 20,000. So if I had 20,000 in Robinhood, I could purchase $40,000 worth of stock, because Robinhood will let me borrow 20,000, and I just have to pay like a little bit of money to use that margin. So I can even understand just cut off margin on the entire platform if you want, or on just those stocks. Say you have to 100% put your own money in. Totally fine with that. Like, it's a volatile situation. People trade on margin. Sometimes they tend not to have it. You know what I mean? Then you end up in a situation where you're chasing down a bunch of money. Make people put up 100% of their money, and then that's fine. But you don't just or freeze the stock if you want to do that. Freeze it if you think it's too volatile. But to make it where you can only sell it to, that's only helping the hedge fund people, so they can drive it down so they can cover their short position, is just absurd. All you guys on TikTok there, YouTube, Twitch link in bio.
One priority, as you mentioned, is to make sure our platform is reliable, stable for our customers. We're serving our customers and giving them the tools.
But that's exactly what's in question now.
We're doing everything in our power to turn it back on as soon as prudent.
But that's the thing, is that the trust is in question, because it seems like the only people who are getting hurt were the big shots. And that if they were benefiting from this, your small investors now believe that you wouldn't have shut down the game. And just one thing without getting in the weeds here. You don't control the listing venue for GameStop. Now, I used to work in finance, so I know this stuff, but the audience doesn't need to. The New York Stock Exchange does. So if anybody was going to control the listing and shut it down, it should have been them, but it wasn't. It was you. And the reason that they do it is very limited. They do it because they think there's evidence of fraud, or they think that there needs to be a material disclosure by the company that hasn't been made. And that's done to protect the investor. You check none of those boxes here, because you don't control the venue. You didn't know about any information that GameStop or any of these other stocks needed to put out. You don't have any reason to believe there's fraud that you've articulated. And you're certainly not protecting these people who've been living the dream of making money, especially at the expense of the big guys. So why should people believe you did this for the right reasons?
True, true, and true.
Well, we have no choice. We have to comply with all financial requirements. And
the SEC hasn't said you had to do this.
Well, lots of brokers have to comply with these financial requirements.
And let's just keep in mind, like, he's been practicing this all day. Like, he is, you know, this is his prime time spot to make himself look good, and this is the best shit he could come up with. I swear to God, YouTube is just now sending out the notification.
And have issued restrictions on some of these names. And this is an industry-wide thing. You yourself mentioned that other brokers this week have imposed restrictions. And not speaking for other firms, but for Robinhood in particular, this isn't because there's deals happening with market makers we route to or market participants.
But then why did you allow people to keep selling but not buying? The reason that is so troubling to people is that they were making money buying the stock because they were against the short side. And so by enabling them to sell but not buy, it sounds like you were allowing the hedge funds, and again, one of them owns a piece of you. And they had a big short position. And that looks like a stinky conflict that you didn't come out straight on from the start. Address that.
Well, none of that had anything to do with our decision to do this. Again, this was just looking at regulatory requirements, financial requirements, and we 100% will always protect our customers, where the entire business is operating to empower individual investors and has been since its founding. And that's what Robinhood is committed to continue to do. So we don't want to restrict buying in these 13 stocks. We're doing the best we can to re-enable it as long as it's operationally and prudent from a deposit.
And then today, and it's still like they haven't like lifted it fully. Like, they didn't even lift it yesterday. What they allowed you to buy like 4 shares or something, which is, you know, I don't know. GameStop was like at $300. That's like $1,200. That's not really shit. So that they're cutting it off. They're gonna make it have to be, you know, a mass event. And a lot of people are just holding. That's why this stock isn't like dropping, you know, like crazy. A lot of people are just holding because they're restricting buying. And then it went from 4 shares down to 1. So you could buy 1 share of GameStop on Robinhood. And this is the bullshit reasons they're coming out with.
Deposit standpoint.
So for you, it's about how much money is in the mix and what you can cover yourself?
Well, it's about us complying with the financial and clearinghouse deposits and regulations.
Then you know what you need? I'll give you some free advice. You need somebody who sets those requirements to come out and say that this is why this happened, because otherwise it smells bad.
True. Like nobody, no government official or anything, or you know, any regulatory body has come out and said, you know, well, they didn't have, you know, there was too much volatility on the stock. They didn't have enough to cover. They didn't have, you know, capital requirements, you know, and they had to, where's it at here? Yesterday they had to raise like capital from like outside investors. Or Robinhood, in need of cash, raises $1 billion from its investors. So they were having cash issues, clearly, or sure as hell seems that way. So I mean, something's going on.
Especially for a place called
Robinhood, somebody doesn't want to give or receive,
your largest customer, investing $2.75 billion to bail out one of the biggest losers in the GameStop short. You know, they both deny. You know, you and Citadel say this wasn't concerted action or anything, but it looks terrible. So you need somebody to justify your decision. Do you think you can do that?
there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm not going to speak for what regulators or industry professionals will say, but you can talk to any of the brokers that have made similar restrictions, and I think they'll all tell you the same thing. And this is a highly regulated industry. It's non-negotiable for us to cooperate with the regulators, follow their guidance, and we're in constant communication with them. So we have to be extremely buttoned up here.
I heard you. Now I saw you on another channel. They were saying, so is it a liquidity issue? So Robinhood didn't have the money to control the flow, and you said, no, it's not the issue. We don't have a liquidity issue. Well, if you don't have a liquidity issue, but you say you're stopping the trading because you couldn't meet certain capital requirements, how does that reconcile with itself?
Right, that would mean it's a liquidity issue, which would make sense because they were raising billions of dollars, or at least $8 billion overnight last night. Or that came out right about when this interview did, maybe a little bit after. So, I mean, that would at least make a little bit of sense. More, I mean, and it would be like bad, but not as bad as just fuck the little guy, basically.
Well, we feel pretty good about the situation, and you know, we did this preemptively, right? We were looking at the deposit requirements. We were looking at the operational requirements. So we did this proactively, and we feel good about being able to re-enable these things. And we definitely want to make sure customers understand when we impose restrictions, when we lift them. Ultimately, brokers have to impose these types of restrictions because the capital requirements can change, and we're in unprecedented times, and the financial system operates in very technical ways with regard to settlement and money movement, and there's no way around that. It's just the reality.
I hear you.
He's trying to gum it up and make it sound more complicated than it really is. It's really just not that complicated. That's one thing these finance bros try to do, and they try to make it sound a lot more complicated than it is. And on top, not only has a regulatory body not come out and said that they did this for the right reasons, but they're actually getting investigated. The SEC said they didn't come out and they didn't say they were going to look into, like, they didn't say Reddit, Robinhood, you know what I mean? Well, they didn't say that, but that's what they said. They're investigating the situation. I don't know if anything will actually come of that because, you know, friends in high places, but they are investigating the situation. And, you know, Dave Portnoy made, you know, a lot of good points last night that, you know, like I said, they're mortgaging their future. So clearly they just think it's better and cheaper just to deal with the class action lawsuits that are coming together right now than it was to lose the billions of dollars. You know, I think the first time ever Dave Portnoy was on Tucker Carlson last night, and I actually agreed with the entire segment, which shows you just how screwed this whole thing is.
Business.
I hear what your rationale is, but again, now we're going to be watching this story because you have political forces I've never seen aligned before who want to make sure that the big guy is not finding a way to get over on the little guy. Because the country, I think, is just
already happened
with
though.
That. So you're caught in the middle, and we'll be watching.
I shared the. I don't know if any of you guys got in on you know, the Reddit stocks or whatever, but I shared the link to the class action lawsuit in the Discord, in my Discord link in the description here.
And I hope you're acting in good faith, and that the trading resumes and the market can settle itself. But Vlad Tenev, thank you for coming.
Fast forward, it did not. And I've seen a couple people act like the story isn't a big deal. Like, this is an extremely big deal. This has done more to, like, mainstream Wall Street corruption, which is, I think, something we can all agree on is a terrible thing. It's done more to expose Wall Street corruption and actually bring a spotlight on it than really, I mean, even crashing our economy, because people are, you know, like, people talk about it and then it kind of goes away, because a lot of people in Washington, that is how they get rich. Like, people are always like, how do these people that make $180,000, how do they get all this money? A lot of the times it's in the stock market. You know, whether you want to say it's insider information or whatever, I'm not going to go that route. Let's just say though that as of 2020, the average person in Congress who had a portfolio beat the market by 20 to 25%. The average person. Well, Warren Buffett, who's considered the best trader of all time, gets like 18. So I don't know. Somehow the average person in Congress is doing better than Warren Buffett. But so it seems like there's always like this outcry, like this spring when we had to bail out Boeing, who spent all like 95% of their tax refund money, you know, off of the 2018 tax cuts. They spent it all on basically giving people bonuses, and then needed a $25 billion check, you know, so we don't care then, you know, because they took the tax cut money, bought back their own stock, pumped it up, everybody got rich. 2 years later, stock crashes, we got to give them a bunch of money. Nobody cares about that, you know, because it's like a one-day story. People are like, oh, fucking Wall Street, and then everybody forgets about it. But I feel like this has a little bit of staying power, only because like they had to go like completely mask off. You know what I mean? They create, yeah. They make all the rules, and then you find out stuff like Biden's Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen got $800,000 from Citadel, which is a company that is invested in ROBINHOOD. They're the ones that, you know, back them basically, or 40% of them. So, you know, it's all interconnected in this big just orgy of fuckery. These people, I swear. But this made me smile a little bit before we move on to the Tucker thing. Losses on short positions in U.S. firms top 70 billion with a B. 70 billion is what hedge funds have lost on their short positions as of now. Like, if these, and the craziest thing is that apparently there's still 112% short interest in GameStop, which is just absolutely insane. Saw that's on, see if I can find it. Yeah. Short sellers haven't closed a fraction of their position yet. 112% short ratio still available. They think they can outlast you. The retail investor proved them wrong. GME hold. GameStop short interest stands at 11.2 billion. So, I mean, a lot of people say they're holding, man. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens here, but it's gonna be interesting, that's for sure. Okay, so moving on from that. By the way, while you guys are here, if you could like the stream, I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you like my lives, you can follow me on Twitch. That would be freaking awesome. You could support me by subscribing on Twitch. You get emojis and commercial-free stuff. All my links to all my social medias, Twitter, TikTok, all that are down in the description of the YouTube video. As well, you can join the Discord, all that fun stuff. And yeah. Also like the stream. Did I mention that? Did I mention like the stream? Okay. Done shilling. So, now back to our regularly scheduled right-wing fuckery that we usually talk about. By the way, yeah, you guys on the TikTok there, YouTube link in bio. Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is from 2019. She's just a gift that keeps on giving, man. I don't see how. There's going to be a new video of Marjorie Taylor Greene saying something batshit fucking insane every single day. Like, this shit's getting out of hand. I swear. But this is her on a show talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg having a body double. Yes, I did not stutter. Or as the lady calls her, Gingrich.
And I also want to ask you, I got another question for Marjorie. I'll ask hers first. Have you seen, and I've asked Will this before, the picture of Ruth Bader Gingrich walking through the airport? This woman has been drawn over for how many years? And all of a sudden she's walking straight up, right? Like it's a whole new person.
Almost like
Do
a
you
body double
believe
like
that
Hillary
is
Clinton.
Ruth?
Yeah, like
Yes.
the body double for Hillary Clinton. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So
I do not believe that was Ruth. No, I don't think so.
yeah.
I don't either. And I also want to ask you, I got another question for Mark.
That's the same thing. But yeah, so, I mean, like, she's just full on, she is the QAnon mom. She is the full on 100% Ruth Bader Gingrich, apparently, has a body double walking through the airport because because she's standing upright, I guess. Was that what that was the conclusion? Like, you know, it's all funny, like the memes, but this lady has a platform. She has a say in policy, and she is building a following. And I just think more people, like, I know the Wall Street story is big right now, but more people in our government need to be pushing to have her removed, because she is gonna inspire a fucking wave of other people just like her. Because that's how it starts. Trump, you know, like the person at the person that comes after is always worse. Like, we got Trump, and Trump inspired the Matt Gaetz, the Lauren Boeberts, the Madison Cawthorns, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes. That's what, you know, Trumpism got to those people. And now those people who are the prominent faces of the GOP at this point, okay, everybody knows who those people are. Barely, you know, unless you're really involved in politics, you don't know the leaders of the GOP. You know, the Jim Jordan, maybe you might know him, but like the next crop is going to be even worse. And it's not going to be in, like, you know, purple districts or anything. It's going to be in those deep red districts like Marjorie Taylor Greene's. She only got 11,000 votes to get in. And I don't know. I just think it needs to be expelled from, I mean, you know, whatever. You want to do that? You want to talk about that shit on Telegram and whatever, that's fine. But it's going to go one of two ways. Either she's going to stay in, but literally expel her now is trending as I talk about this. Either she's going to stay in Congress and it's going to be like the best rallying cry against the GOP. But the thing is that the Democrats don't know how to make anything stick, or it's going to inspire a bunch of more nutcases, and we're going to have a fucking merry band of fucking island of misfit toys in the GOP, and we're going to be begging for the days of the Tea Party. Like, man, remember Mitch McConnell? He really wasn't that bad. Remember Jim Jordan? He wasn't that bad. Oh, I sure miss Ted Cruz. You know what I mean? Yeah, she definitely won't resign. She definitely won't resign. It's the Q-op now? Yeah. They will force a vote. Let's see what, Hasn't she gotten a beef with, what's her face? Cori Bush. Expel her now as training. Maybe probably because of this ad. Let's check it out.
Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Imagine if that was Ilhan Omar. Imagine if... Can you imagine if Ilhan Omar made this ad? Oh my God. What is the point of this? Yeah, I'm a fucking American. I got my gun, and it's got one of them cool little scopes on the top. and I represent America because this is probably a $3,000 gun or something, and everyone can afford this. America.
Helped incite the violent insurrection at the Capitol that left 5 people dead, calling it a, quote, 1776 moment before the attack. And instead of apologizing, she doubled down and deflected.
Democrats are on record supporting violence when it serves their cause.
In December, Greene and other extremist lawmakers met with Trump at the White House to discuss their plans to undermine the peaceful transition of power. And even though Biden just became president, Greene already drafted articles of impeachment against him before he took office. In addition to promoting Trump's baseless lies about the election, Greene is also a believer in the QAnon conspiracy theory, which has inspired a wave of racist violence across the country. She's even stated that the Parkland school shooting, which killed 17 students, teachers, and staff, was fake. Marjorie Taylor Greene is too extreme for Congress. It's time to expel her from office and investigate her for sedition.
True. I mean, I just want, you know, I don't care if you have conservative ideals or opinions, but when you've literally called, where's the other video? Oh, we got to talk about that too. I mean, I'm not even joking when I say there's one for every day. What's this one about? And a pre-election video just uncovered by Mother Jones, Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene is seen endorsing political violence. The only way you get your let's just listen to it.
But here's the deal. If this generation does...
I didn't realize she was such a prominent figure on the cuckoo right before she went to office. Guess I didn't pay that much attention before when she
doesn't stand
was part
up
of all
and defend
that.
freedom, it's gone. Yeah. And once it's gone, freedom doesn't come back by itself. The only way you get your freedoms back is it's earned with the price of blood. We can't be too busy or...
Isn't that... who is this guy? I've seen this guy before. Or is that the guy that took pictures with Boebert? Sure as hell looks like him.
Or too complacent or too worried about offending someone anymore. There's no more excuses. This is it. November 3rd, freedom is on the ballot. You have a choice of either voting for freedom by voting for Donald J. Trump for president again for 4 more years, voting Republican.
See, this isn't even that old. This is like last year during like the primaries or something. So like it's not that her views have changed it's just that she has to be more undercover about it now.
Straight down your ballot, or you're going to vote for socialism.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene right here.
End America as we know
Not the newer polished version. This is the one.
it. And this is no joke. They do not want you to be able to defend yourself, because if you can defend yourself, guess what? Then you can stop a tyrannical government. However, if they take away your guns, then you can't, not only can you never stop a tyrannical government, you can never even defend yourself if someone is breaking in your home. And that's the reality. This is where we are today in 2020.
Freaking Democrats can't even pass STEMI checks. We can't get a STEMI check bill. These people think they're going to take away your guns. Does nobody know how government works? I can't even imagine them putting a gun bill up. Can you, like, maybe like some Manchin Toomey amendment bullshit? We can't background checks are 90% or like a 95% popular idea. We can't even get that. These people they're going to take away your guns. I think Trump said more against guns than any Democrat has in the last 20 years or ever. I mean, I have conservative leanings on certain things, but yeah, I see it. Holy shit, the Republicans have made it impossible to vote for a single one of them. Yeah, because it's not about conservative values. At least, like, people talk about the extremism on like the far left in government, the socialists in government. Like, the extremists are in the Republican Party. they're the extreme ones, and they're the ones that get elected because their extremists are the ones that vote, and it's in those deep red districts. Like those people get out and vote. Like the farthest left people are typically less, interested in voting. Like the Antifa types. Like they're the ones that have just said fuck the system, and they do activism another way. Or like the Bernie bros that don't understand that settling for Biden is better. Like, but the far right people, they tend to actually vote more, so they get their batshit candidates in there. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene beat a doctor who was a Trump supporter. Like it's not like she beat some lefty to get in office. It was a Trump supporting doctor. Yeah, it's just fear mongering. Every election, yep. Every election, shit, every day. Cuckoo for cuckoo puffs. More people on the left need to pay attention. Yeah, the left, I will scream this till maybe somebody listens. The left needs to be more united, because I feel like the left nitpicks way more than the right does. Like, I see lefties on TikTok going at other lefties more than I do people on the right. Like, over kind of dumb things. And I don't like it because, like, that's not the battle, man. And I feel like people on the left just don't, like, they don't rally around core ideas like the right does. Like, Cam Higbee should not have 1.5 million followers. Like, he just shouldn't. If your content is good, okay, whatever. Even if you're conservative, maybe you should have a following. But, he has a following because the right just rallies around people that say the stuff they like. Anybody whose hero is Roger Stone shouldn't have 1.5 million followers. Roger Stone shouldn't have 1.5 million followers, even though sadly he does. Yeah, unity, man. Look at what Unity did. Unity has been flipping out Wall Street for the last week. And it was a bunch of shitheads on Reddit. And, a bunch of toxic ones at that. But it seems like even the people that claim to not be toxic don't understand, like, the power of unity. And it's hard, too, in, like, the social media age, because really, like, everybody's trying to, like, just, like, get in their own, like, section and lane and to, like, find, like, and I feel like a lot of the younger kids especially are so obsessed with, like, the labels of politics. Like, I consider myself very like pretty libertarian on let me explain, like more libertarian on, like, social issues, and then very progressive on economic issues, but, like, I consider myself I would say I'm a progressive, hence the name. But, like, I don't really give a shit about labels. Like, I just know what policies I like. But I feel like every 5 seconds on TikTok or really any social media platform, it's like, I'm an anarcho, half capitalist, half zoologist. You know what I mean? Like, they get too obsessed with, like, well, I'm actually this form of libertarian. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Let's go after these good things. Let's talk about them, and let's push those. Let's push them to the moon. Let's unite. Let's drive it to the moon like GameStop, but like healthcare, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Just really simplify it. Let's get the Nazis out of politics. Let's do that. Did I vote? Yeah, I voted. By the way, YouTube, Twitch link in bio, guys. So you can come over, so you can actually join the parade over here. But anyway, so yeah. Anyway, while you guys are here, since a few new people just hopped in, if you could like the stream, I'd really, really appreciate it. All my links are down in the description. Also, you can follow me on Twitch, and we passed 3,000 subscribers on TikTok, or not TikTok, YouTube. So thank you very much. 3,000 subs, that's awesome. Just a few months' time, which is pretty cool. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. But anyway, So, another one goes to the gallows because of fucking Q. God, I hate seeing this shit, man. It pisses me off so much. Because it's just like, how many people would not be in this situation if it wasn't for a bullshit fucking internet conspiracy? It just fucking ruins people's lives. Not doing very good on that stopping cussing thing. Anyway, so, probably being the last time I'm posting here. Just told my Q spouse I'm leaving, or he's leaving, but we need to go our separate ways. Hold on, let me get a drink here. He told me he regrets having kids and he should have left me 4 years ago. He's been into Q for about that long. I never agreed, but didn't realize it was becoming a problem until 1 or 2 years ago. I told him I don't regret having my kids and he can say whatever he wants. And if he wants to sign them over to me, he can. He told me he feels shunned because I'm not on his side with anything and I'm not fighting for our family. I told him I feel shunned by him ignoring me constantly and being on Twitter and making Twitter his priority. I told him Q is everywhere, screensaver, stickers, his clothes, imagine that. And I can't take it anymore. He says Q is the closest thing to the truth. I don't know about that. He also brought up our world being run by Satanists and that I don't care about anything. Even as we were fighting about our relationship, he brings up Q. I'm scared of divorce, but somewhat relieved. My oldest is turning 4, so I'm hoping he won't remember won't remember much about us separating. I don't even have a job right now, but I have a few interviews coming up and are hoping for the best. Thank you everyone for here that has helped me get through some hard times. I'm not sure my next steps, but I definitely just want to cry. Fuck QAnon and anyone who perpetuates this bullshit. Blessing in disguise, I guess. So here, you know, you have this lady who's now single mom, no job, but it, you know, and people get, you know, we all know how life works. People get stuck in like a bad situation. She's jobless, 4-year-old kid, and it's so bad with her person that she clearly, you know, loved enough to have a kid with. His Q obsession has gotten so bad that she's over it, bailing out. You know, I couldn't, man, it would be tough. Like if you weren't into Q, or if you like knew, like I don't know, it'd be fucking tough to have like a Q obsessed spouse, man. I don't think I could do it. Well, I know I couldn't do it. I definitely couldn't do it. But I'm saying like that, the average person, I don't see how you could do it. Just living where everything you see on TV, anytime you see a triangle, it's like Illuminati or something, or you can't eat pizza because of this, or you can't look at cute pandas. You know what I mean? Like everything cute and cuddly is actually satanic somehow. It's a cult. It's definitely a cult. It's just an online cult. Yeah, it's super sad. But yeah, you know. And you see them stories every day, man, and it's a real bummer. And then, you know, you think, and I've seen this too on like my videos, like for a while there, I wasn't getting a lot of comments from like Q people about, you know, whatever the day's crazy shit is. But I've noticed a lot, and this guy posted about it today. After a few days of shock and anguish, the QAnon community is now back to where it was before Inauguration Day. Some influencers who expressed doubt in the plan on January 20th have now fallen back in line. Joe M is the only influencer who has yet to post since that day. Which is a good thing because Joe M's pretty big, but they're back to the LARP, you know. And I'm getting a lot of comments like, "Oh, you just don't know. Just wait, it's coming." Like they're having a resurgence. We are in the middle of a spiritual war right now. We are called to be in this fight. Are you in the war? Or are you on the sidelines watching? Let's understand our position today. Let me encourage you with these excerpts from Corey Ten Boom's marching orders for the battle. See how appropriate they are for this hour. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah, anyway. And more LARP. More LARP. Are you ready to hold the political elite accountable? That must be an old cue drop. It's gonna be biblical, yeah. You've seen that one going around. Do. But, oh, what the fuck is going on here? Oh. This is the other Marjorie Taylor Greene video that's going around. This is
She's a traitor to our country. She's guilty of treason.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene talking.
She took an oath to protect American citizens and uphold our laws, and she gives aid and comfort to our enemies who illegally invade our land. That's what treason is. Exactly. And by our law, representatives and senators can be kicked out and no longer serve in our government. And it's a crime punishable by death, is what treason is. Nancy
Nothing big, just calling for the Speaker of the House to be, murdered. Nothing
Pelosi
let's see
is
here.
guilty of treason, and we want her out of our government. She's held her seat of power for 32 years. She's 78 years old. She is dying in Congress. We are fed up with these corrupt politicians that hang on to their power just to make themselves rich. She's a
I'm no fan of Nancy Pelosi, but maybe let's just not call for her to be murdered. Feels pretty easy to get behind. Your gut feeling might be right there. Yeah, it is like a D&D profile pic, true. Yeah, no, they're just yeah, they think they're in like a fantasy role play game. They are in a constant state of LARP, and that's how they get through it. But they, man, it's just like I'm working on I've been reading a bunch of those how to talk to conspiracy people sources, and I'm trying to find the time to put together a video on that whole thing. But it's hard. It's hard to get somebody out when they really think like the fate of humanity rests on them posting memes on the internet. But the thing with facts is that it's like secondary. Like once they kind of get over the LARP, then you can use facts to pull them out. But like facts first usually doesn't do it. You know what I mean? But so anyway, switch back there. Tucker Carlson, man of the people, bow tie Tucker Carlson, decided he was gonna defend Q. And I watched like the first 30 seconds of this, and I was like, I'll just save it for stream. So let's see exactly what he had to say. It starts at 9 minutes, I believe. Or 8:45.
The media love laws like this. Laws like this are aimed directly at the media's sworn arch-enemies, people who went to state schools and other undesirables. Listen as the geniuses explain how the single biggest threat to this country isn't Chinese hegemony or even the coming hyperinflation, pretty much a certainty now, which was 100% caused by elite mismanagement of our economy. But no, let's not talk about that. The real threat is a forbidden idea. It's something called QAnon.
Next, what to do.
Real quick, I just want to say I hate this like idea that we can't like do more than one thing. Like we can't walk and shoot, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we have this problem, we have this problem. That's what the right is trying to do with this whole with the impeachment thing, and in the insurrection people with QAnon. It's like, oh, you're worried about a dumb internet conspiracy. And we have China is going to eat our lunch. It's like, dude, we have a huge government and we have a lot of people. We can handle more than one thing. Also, QAnon indirectly almost led to like our entire government getting murdered. So kind of feels like maybe if you wouldn't have brushed it off 2 years ago, we wouldn't have had this issue. And maybe people wouldn't be constantly losing family members and to cults if we took this a little more seriously. But now, it's like, oh, let's worry about China instead. Or only China,
about
I guess.
QAnon and its droves of loyal followers. Is it too little, too late to bring our loved ones back to reality?
Many of those who believe the totally unfounded conspiracies and prophecies of QAnon expected January 20th to be Judgment Day.
As far-right figures and QAnon conspiracy theorists are joined by Trump supporters who believe the election was stolen.
QAnon is better viewed as an on-ramp to various different extremism circles.
How many people in the country have been marinated in these conspiracy theories, QAnon craziness, and it is frightening.
Ooh, Mr. Tom Friedman thinks this is all pretty frightening. And he's right, but not, as usual, for the reasons he thinks. We're watching a profound change taking place in American society, and it's happening very fast. The stakes could not be higher. There's a clear line between democracy and tyranny, between self-government and dictatorship. And here's what that line is. That line is your conscience. They cannot cross that. Government has every right to tell you what to do. Controlling the behavior of citizens is one of the basic prerogatives of any organized society. It's why we have it. Government can try to prevent you from committing murder or rape or from speeding or jaywalking. That's all allowed. It's legitimate. But no democratic government can ever tell you what to think. Your mind belongs to you. It is yours and yours.
Could anybody tell me who's telling anybody what to think? Nobody's saying, no government entity is saying, hey, these people can't believe in QAnon. As far as I know, has anybody done that? I think people have talked about misinformation on the internet and how we can combat misinformation, but if these people want to believe this, they're allowed to believe it, and nobody is telling them any different. The problem is social media algorithms and in these platforms, letting these lies grow and grow and grow, and not only that, bringing people together. Like, oh, hey, I like this lie. Oh, you like that lie? Let's lie together. And growing these crazy followings and these fringe conspiracies. But that's on like private companies. It's not anything to do with people in the government.
Alone. Once politicians attempt to control what you believe, they are no longer politicians. They are by definition dictators. And if they succeed in controlling what you believe, you are no longer a citizen. You are not a free man. You are a slave. So yes, Tom Friedman, this is frightening. It's everywhere all of a sudden. No one is pushing back. Instead, they have almost every one of them, join the mob.
I love how Tucker, we went from don't favor QAnon and the algorithm, or don't let QAnon be a hashtag, to slavery. That's where we went with that.
Mob of censors, hysterics, and Jacobin destroyers, all working on behalf of entrenched power to take total control of everything. Overstatement? No, it's not. Their new idea is that this channel shouldn't be allowed. Now, they're not arguing that Fox News is inaccurate and dishonest and you shouldn't watch it.
No,
they're arguing that you shouldn't be able to watch Fox News because Fox News should be eliminated by force. A few days ago, a former New York Times columnist called Anand Giridharadas posted this question on Twitter, quote, should Fox News...
What form of government is Anand Giridharadas? Is how you say the name. He's not in the government. This guy could say whatever he wants. He's a fucking freelance journalist. Why are you comparing him to the government? See what they do? See what these little sneaky fuckers do? They take some shit that people are just saying and they're like, the left-wing government wants to shut down your free speech and make you work in the fields because you like guns. God, these people.
Just be allowed to exist. No, he quickly concluded, Fox News, quote, shouldn't be legal. No one online seemed especially surprised by this view. Among a certain group, it is a gathering consensus. CNN certainly agrees with it. CNN is our direct competitor, of course, so you might imagine they would recuse themselves from this conversation. Oh, but just the opposite.
Yeah, because that's
CNN
how
is
media
staring down the
works.
barrel of some pretty lean years ratings-wise, now that their reason for existing has departed from Mar-a-Lago. They would love one less news channel on the dial. So over the weekend, the Dwarf King summoned a pair of his most pliable minions up from the cellar and turned them loose to explain that actually allowing people to watch what they want to watch on TV is a massive threat to democracy.
President Biden seems to understand that right-wing radicalization is a real problem. His team seems to recognize how Fox and Facebook and QAnon fantasies and all of that has caused the separate realities in the United States.
And it remains a threat to our democracy. It is the reason why there were hundreds of Trump supporters storming the Capitol on January 6th. And until that poison, that toxin is drained from the national political discourse in this country, Brian, I do think that these forces represent a potential existential threat to this country.
Oh, it's existential. It's existential. Existential. Now, you should know that no one on CNN has ever been asked to spell or define the word existential. The day that happens is the day they stop using the word. Instead, they called in reinforcements from Jeff Bezos, who you should also know has expressed interest in buying CNN, because, of course, Bezos' employee, Margaret Sullivan at the Washington Post, wrote an entire column about how the continued existence of a single news channel that at times disagrees with all the other news channels is, you guessed it, a threat to democracy. That's too much choice. That's not democratic. Quote, corporations that advertise on Fox News should walk away, Sullivan wrote, and citizens who care about the truth should demand that they do so.
Again, these are people with opinions, like Tucker Swanson Carlson. This is not the government. These are people, and how far out can we take this? What if does Tucker Carlson want on primetime TV the Holocaust denial hour? Like, exactly how far out can we push this? People can just do whatever they want and say whatever they want on prominent networks. You know what I mean? Like, they're misinforming people is bad, and it should be treated as such. Your freedom of speech is not about just saying whatever you want all the time, and not only being allowed to say it, but having it platformed and then pushed to the moon and to millions and millions of people. Like, if you misinform people and you lie to people, and because of those lies create chaos, and you should be held responsible. You should be. You're not. Right now, you just get fucking paid, and that's pretty much it. Like, there should be a little bit of pushback, at least from the platforms, if you're actively misinformed or spreading disinformation as a way to profit.
Again, Margaret Sullivan didn't ask people to stop watching Fox News. She asked for us to be unemployed. Her colleague Max Boot agreed with that. Max Boot also labors for Jeff Bezos at the Washington Post. Noticing a theme here? When you work for the world's richest man, people tend to listen to you. When you call for government officials to crush dissent, that's not a small thing.
And there's also, I think, the possibility of reviving the fairness doctrine, which the FCC enforced until 1987, and which mandated some minimal standards of factuality and balance on the part of TV stations. And since that's disappeared, it's just been a complete free-for-all with all sorts of lunacy being fed directly into the right-wing ecosystem.
Max Boot, ladies and gentlemen, on the fairness doctrine. The fairness doctrine is pretty amusing. Ignore the fact that the fairness doctrine does not even apply to cable news, since the U.S. government doesn't own the cable lines. What you should consider is the idea that Max Boot just explained, that it's, quote, unfair for one news outlet to disagree with every other news outlet in the country. So
these aren't disagreements. Is it is single payer healthcare better, or is the public option? Should we have free market healthcare? These are disagreements. These are not just blatant lies. Hillary Clinton eats babies and wears their skin is not a disagreement. Like, how is that like a hard concept to grasp? Like that is harmful disinformation. Not should we have more guns in our society or less guns? Those are disagreements on policy. We can have those all day long. I long for the day we can have those kind of conversations. Like they take the most complex issues and they try to whittle it down to these little horse shit talking points of they want to take away your free speech because, socialism and Antifa.
Diversity of opinion is unfair. Sameness is fair. That's why it should be mandatory. It's inclusive. Hilarious. In addition to everything else, you may have figured this out already, these people are stupid. Of course they're stupid. That's why our country is in trouble. Because the people who run our country can't find their butts with both hands. Max Boot has no choice but to work at the Washington Post. No self-respecting landscaping company would have.
Max Boot does suck. He's like a warmonger, goofy, never Trump Republican. Like, I like all the stuff Republicans do. I just don't like his mean tweets. Like, he's one of those guys. But he's better than Tucker Carlson, but he still sucks.
Have Max Boot. But that doesn't mean Max Boot won't win. It's a mistake to imagine that simply because an idea is wrong or stupid or immoral that it cannot prevail, at least for a while. Of course it can prevail. History is filled with examples of this. New Coke was a real beverage. The French Revolution actually happened. So we should be worried when large numbers of people start saying irrational things. And they definitely are saying them. Joe Scarborough has a morning show over on MSNBC. Joe Scarborough isn't stupid, hardly. Look up animal cunning in the dictionary and you will find Joe Scarborough's picture. What Joe Scarborough
fake news.
Is a herd animal. He's flexible. If all the kids are doing it, he wants a seat on the bus. He wants in. Watch Joe Scarborough explain that the people who appear on Fox News need to be forced to shut up immediately.
Fox News had someone I know, a former...
Again, I just want to state that he started out that this was like the government trying to take down right-wing speech, and somehow we were on QAnon and we got to Fox News, so I guess he's correlating Fox News with QAnon, which is fine, I guess. So I don't know how we got here exactly. How they spin these webs, man, I swear.
The Republican Party saying that Democrats wanted, and I'm using his words here, Democrats wanted to, quote, exterminate all Republicans. Let me say that again for Fox News sponsors to let you know. For Fox News sponsors to let you know what's happening now on Fox News. That they're getting people who are Fox News contributors who are saying that Democrats, Joe Biden and Democrats, want to, quote, exterminate all Republicans.
Ooh, I'm saying this for Fox News sponsors. So how honest do you want to be here? The man you just saw has been accused in public by the President of the United States of murdering a young woman. Not many cable news hosts can say that. Now, we're not taking a position on Joe Scarborough's guilt or innocence in that case. We're not a law enforcement agency.
So, literally in the thing where he's trying to defend his network pushing misinformation or disinformation, he goes and pushes a bullshit conspiracy about a lady that died, an assistant or one of Joe Scarborough's staff members when he was in Congress. Like, it was like a tragic accident, and it's some bullshit that Trump talked about a couple times. He had nothing to do with it, of course. Like, she'd worked for Scarborough. I don't remember the exact details, but it's a horseshit conspiracy. And Tucker, who fucking makes a living taking positions on issues, like, oh, I don't want to take a position on that. I just want to throw it out there in case you hadn't heard about it, that Joe Scarborough may or may not have killed someone. It's
not our place to do that. But one thing we did not do and would never do is go on TV to demand that because Joe Scarborough was accused of violence by a politician, American companies should not be allowed to sell their products to his viewers. Doing that never even occurred to us.
Yeah, no, Joe Scarborough is kind of, he sucks, but, you know, he's better than Tucker. Like, again, this is low bar. I would put Joe Scarborough in the Max boot. He's in that area. You know, and the other day he was talking about, he was who I was complaining about the other day when they were talking about the filibuster, but 99% of these boobs on TV suck, but, you know, what do you do?
Us. Not for a second. We're not fascists, or for that matter, middle-aged performers running away from their own consciences. We're Americans. We think people we disagree with should still be allowed to talk in public. The tech monopolies have never believed that. They're not American companies. They're global conglomerates that don't answer to voters. They're more powerful than our government at this point, you should know. Last week on CNN, the former chief security officer at Facebook, how's that title strike you? A man called Alex Stamos, said all of this out loud.
It's really hard because what's happening is people are able to seek out the information that makes them feel good. That is what's happening, is that, you know, people have so much choice now. They can choose what their news sources are. They can choose what influencers they want to follow. We have to turn down the capability of these conservative influencers to reach these huge audiences. There are people on YouTube, for example, that have a larger audience than daytime CNN, and they are extremely radical and pushing extremely radical views.
Now, I don't like how that guy put it, though. Like, he makes it sound like we need to, like, cancel YouTube, or, you know what I mean? Like, he made, like, a couple solid points there at the beginning, but the whole, oh, we need to turn down, you know, we need to turn down the internet. Like, no, we need to have a better filter policy, or we need to do several things, and we need to have better education. And CNN needs to do a better job of covering more than 3 sensational stories a day and actually putting out good information. Like, it's not, you know, like, there's several things need to happen in order for things to get better with disinformation. But, like, yeah, how he like, I don't really, he did a very, like, shitty job, kind of an elitist perspective on how we should solve this problem.
So in the name of democracy, clearly the term of the moment, in the defense of the people's will, we must censor people and make certain that individuals can't read and hear what they choose to read and hear. At least they're being honest about it. Information is power. They want the power. Therefore, they must control the information. And so they are. That's what's happening. We told you a moment ago that nobody seems to be fighting back against this tide of repression, but that's not entirely true. This weekend, Rupert Murdoch, the man who started this company, won an award from a foundation in the UK. And here's part of what he said when he accepted it. Quote, "For those of us in the media, there is a real challenge to confront, a wave of censorship that seeks to silence conversation, to stifle debate, to ultimately stop individuals and societies from realizing their potential. This rigidly enforced conformity, aided and abetted by so-called social media, is a straitjacket on sensibility. Too many people have fought too hard in too many places for freedom of speech to be suppressed by this awful
I don't give a shit. But yeah, it just, like, their bread and butter is misinformation or you know, lying to people and spreading propaganda. So of course they're not going to want a crackdown on propaganda, and they don't want people to be educated because the entire conservative model at this point is having people be in the dark. So of course Tucker, who is supposed to be a man of the people, doesn't want the people to be educated, because if the people are educated, they're not gonna fucking watch him, you know. But he's, you know, his fancy ass, you know, undercover white supremacy act. And yeah, it just it really shocked, you know, but it really shocks me that that's the #1 rated cable news channel, or #1 spot on cable is Tucker Carlson. And he knows he knows, like, right now, like, it is like there's guns blazing for him. So he's got to come out and he's got to spin it in a way to make him seem like the victim, which always seems to be how conservatives pull these things off. YouTube, Twitch link in bio, y'all, if you want to come over and kick it. Hannity and Tucker for sure. What are your top 5 most hated Fox personalities? Ooh, shit. Tucker's definitely number 1. Tucker is the best at, like, he tells a lot of the same lies that like Hannity and them do, but he does it in a more palatable way. Like that's why, like, you know, the alt-right, you know, Richard Spencer types really like really like Tucker Carlson, because he's able to spin their message and kind of make it sound like it's a populist good thing, like you know, that fake man of the people shtick. And so just in that, and he is just fucking, God, he's just a weaselly fuck. So he's definitely number 1. I really hate that, what's his name? Greg Gutfield. He's pretty bad. Hannity's bad too, but Hannity's just like dumb jock bad. You know what I mean? Like, Hannity's not real smart, so he's just kind of like, you know, kind of just kind of lumbering, lethargic, just, you know, America, guns are good. You know, I don't think his message resonates with anybody who's not fully in. Like, I think Tucker can dupe some people in. Hannity's just, you know, if you're already cheerleading for that team, he's got you. So I would say those are to the top 3. That Greg Gutfeld, God, he really just rubs me the wrong way. Not for any particular stance he has, but man, he's just annoying. It would be amazing to see them go head to head. Thumbjock, yeah. Did I say thumbjock? I might have said that. Who else is bad on that Kennedy? She's not too great. She used to be on MTV, actually, way back in the day when I was watching MTV. Who else is bad on Fox? All the rest are gone. They've all had their sexual harassment suit. Oh, Steve Doocy, he's up there. Steve Doocy's pretty bad. I would say, if I had to rank it, top 5. Maybe we'll do a tier list. That's a good stream idea. Propaganda pusher tier list. Like, we'll rate it one day. But if top 5, I'd have to say probably Tucker, Greg Gutfield, Sean Hannity, Steve Doocy, and then the other guy on the morning. What's the other guy? The little weaselly fuck. God, I can't even think of it. There's Ainsley Earhart, Steve Doocy. Fuck. It'll come to me. Oh, here's a quick little funny story. By the way, anybody here, if you guys could like the stream, I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you like my lives, you can follow me on Twitch. Link is in the bio, bruh. And also subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications and all that stuff. Social media links in the description. You can also donate to the stream or subscribe on Twitch if you want to support me. So, Robinhood, for some reason, I don't know why, the trading app, Robinhood, I meant to talk about this a little bit earlier, but I forgot. They put a definition of what socialism is on their app. I guess, I don't know. I have a Robinhood account. I don't use it anymore, but I'd never seen like this section of Robinhood. But they have an article about what socialism is, and then they compare it to, they say like a good, I'll just read it to you. Socialism is an economic system which contrasts with capitalism. Under socialism, the means of production are owned collectively rather than by individuals. Historic examples of socialist countries include Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. Contemporary, and then I don't know, it goes on. Anyway, they took this down, but this was up like today. Like, Nazi Germany is your example of socialism? I mean, I don't know. I just thought It was really weird. Brian Kilmeade. That's the other guy on the morning. I didn't understand. Like, why do you feel the need to push this? Like, I know, like, the guys that created Robinhood are clearly like some, you know, Wall Street bros, but this is just dumb. This is like Steven Crowder dumb. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, did you guys see this? This is pretty funny. The freaking guy, the Proud Boys guy, was a rat, apparently. Yeah. I mean, oh, I know what I was going to talk. We'll come back to that. Let's open up TikTok. I have a small beef with no, liked videos. Go to liked videos. There you go. I have liked none of these. No, liked videos. There you go. I have a small beef with Marcus here.
Attention adults that follow me. I write for middle school. I write.
Alright, that's the wrong one.
Attention adult. This bullshit.
So Marcus, I'm sure if you guys are on TikTok, everybody knows who this guy is. Marcus DePaulo, however you say his name. He did a video on the GameStop thing, and he just got it wrong. Not that he didn't like explain it well, like he just got it wrong. This might be why I'll never, like, you know, I my videos never blow up, because when I explain things like not that great, I take the video down and post a new one, even when it had 600,000 views. I should have just left the fucking thing up. God, that was dumb. But I mean, he just didn't explain this well. And then instead of saying like, okay, yeah, maybe I got it a little wrong, he like lashed out and like said people were attacking. I don't know. We'll check it out.
GameStop story is the least important thing you will hear about all week, but I'm going to explain it anyway. GameStop is a store that sells games. A lot of people on Reddit are betting money that GameStop will be super valuable in a couple years. This is upsetting to banks because when a lot of people try to make those bets at the same time, it gets very expensive to buy into the bet. The banks are betting that GameStop will not be valuable because most people buy games through their consoles, Steam, or online. But regular people want GameStop to stick around because they like the store. Long story short, regular people and big banks are playing a game of multiplayer spreadsheets with their money. It is safe to completely ignore this story. This bullshit.
Like that. Okay, not only is that not a good, like, and I understand he's like, oh, I'm trying, I'll play the other video in a second. He's like, you know, I'm trying to, you know, do a quick breakdown, but that's like not even like the fundamentals of the story. But then to say, oh, this story doesn't matter, it's completely irrelevant. Let me talk about this one executive order that Biden did. It's like, no, dude, this story is extremely important, especially like if you're somebody who follows the news and stuff. Like if you're like, if you care about things that are going on in the world, like this story is very important. Should be very important because Wall Street, the ones who have been the largest contributing factor to why our economy has, you know, flash crashed or, you know, has gone in the shitter, and reason we've had to give bailouts, like, you know, it's a big fucking deal. You know, one of the most one of the biggest weaknesses and reasons that one of the things that people have been screaming about, market manipulation, is finally being exposed by the little guy, and it's important. And not only is it important because of what is happening, but it's important because now more people are understanding that this finance stuff, maybe it's not as complicated as people are making it out to be. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be some 20-year Series 7 past hedge fund investor in order to expose a weakness in the stock market. Like, this is a very, very important story. So to just say, like, I've never seen him be so animated about a story not mattering. Like, I don't know what his beef is with this story exactly. But then, after that, a lot of people in the comments are like, you know, hey man, like, this is a pretty big deal.
Attention adults that follow me. I write for middle schoolers with learning disabilities because I am an adult with a learning disability, and I remember being in middle school and wanting to understand the news, but there were just too many different concepts I didn't understand and too many names I didn't know. So adults, you are welcome to stay, but I am never interested in your input. I fully understand what's going on with GameStop. I used to do some day trading. I'm just not going to explain.
Okay, first of all, I don't know, like, I used to do some day trading. I don't know what that means exactly. Like, whatever. But, God, man, that just seems really full of yourself. Like, you're never interested in critique from your audience, the people that built your fucking platform. Like, I'm not gonna let people tell me how to make my content, but, you know, if people in my audience are like, you know, hey, you know, maybe, like, you know, well, this, you kind of got this a little bit wrong, or this happened. Like, I'm fucking human. You know, I'm open to criticism, especially if it's constructive, which a lot of people were being very constructive with Marcus here. And to say, like, oh, well, I make videos for people with learning disabilities, which, I mean, I guess, okay, but, like, your video that was even for people with learning disabilities, like, you didn't give them correct information. And not only that, you didn't just give them information, you told them the story was pointless. Like, and a lot of people get their news from this guy. Like, Marcus is probably one of the people that is, like, most probably, like, the most, like, one of the sources that people trust the most on TikTok. You know what I mean? So, like, all these different people that are, like, hearing this story and, like, seeing a bunch of people excited about it, and then they see Marcus, like, this story doesn't matter at all, and it's not a big deal. And I think that's, you know, I think it's really short selling his audience.
Illegal market manipulation to teenagers because I don't think it's necessary at this point in their lives. So let me...
Why? Literally one of my biggest beefs with, like, schools and stuff is that we don't teach enough about finance. You know, one of the things that is the most important in your entire life is how to manage your finances, and things like stocks is a way people can actually, you know, not just make, like, a quick come up, but understanding how to do finances properly is a way people can build wealth over a long period of time. And something like this can be, like, the gateway to open people up to looking into finance more. So I don't care how old you are, you know, it's important to, you know, once you are old, I mean, if you are interested in finance, or if you see something that interests you, you know, like, look into it.
Say it's super simple. If you can't emotionally handle the fact that I write for people with learning disabilities and not you, unfollow me. Attention adult.
Like, I don't understand. Like, what people offering a critique on a story that you did not explain well. Like, that was not a good explanation of what the story is. And then you told people it wasn't important. Like, people trust you as a serious news source. You are a verified creator who has been on MSNBC. You have 2.6 million followers, 100 million likes. Holy fuck! I feel you owe it to your audience to, one, not give your personal opinion on the story like that. Like, that's the part that really just confused me. Like, oh, you don't have to give a fuck about the story. And two, you just, like, you kind of got the fundamentals of the story wrong. Of it, you know, I don't know, like, and then to, like, say, oh, you know, I just, man, I really hate it when people get, like, this shit attitude with the people that follow them. Like, people aren't like coming at you. Like, I've seen several videos of people like, you know, just like, hey man, you know, you kind of got this wrong, that wrong, like no big deal. Like, people aren't like coming at you in like a heated way. They're just saying like, well, there's a little more to it, and you know, XYZ instead of, you know, ZYX, how you explained it. And he just got extremely pissy. It seems odd to me. I just don't understand it. Like, people on the internet just really cannot handle any criticism at all. This guy gets showered with compliments on a daily basis because, you know, he's usually a pretty solid news source, but he is human. He's allowed to get shit wrong. But don't tell people like, oh, you didn't like how I got that story wrong? Well, unfollow me. I'm never taking your constructive criticism, you peons. Like, dude, it just ain't that serious, man. And then he's blocking people on Twitter. Like, he blocked Justly Deserved. I don't know if you guys follow him, but he's a good creator. And yeah, he blocks him. It's going to his head. Maybe. Yeah, it was a really just prickly response. Sweater is dope. I don't understand like the one sweater shtick on TikTok though. You have that other guy, Adam Rose, he always wears just one sweater, that cardigan, and then Marcus, I've never seen him wear anything but that red thing. Yeah, exactly. All you guys on TikTok there, YouTube, Twitch link in bio. Yeah, that is a Trump attitude. Like, oh, like that. Oh, I'm not. You know, I'm never gonna admit I'm wrong. Like, if you don't like the way I do my content, just unfollow me. It's like, dude, you're the one that didn't explain it well. Like, if you know, it's not like a bunch of Trump people coming after you because you said Q wasn't real. It's people saying like, hey man, you're getting the fundamentals wrong. And then you're telling people on top of that to not give a fuck about the story, which is probably one of the most important stories. Even if you don't have to be a finance bro to care about this story. Like, it involves a pillar of what makes our shit economy shit. It is exposing the worst part of Wall Street, short selling. It is exposing that, and it's bringing it into light. A lot of people before this probably never even heard of short selling. Didn't know what it was. And now they find out, oh, fuck. You mean to tell me there's a bunch of guys making billions of dollars off crashing companies into the ground, and they collude with each other on a weekly basis to do this? And a couple of guys on Reddit expose them for the frauds that they are? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know why he's like, maybe he has like an uncle at one of these hedge funds or something. It just seemed weird to me. Like, it just, like, it's so, like, not like him, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't watch his stuff that much. It pops up on my For You page occasionally, and he seems like he's usually pretty base. Like, he kind of just gives the news, and that's it. I don't know. But, anyway, while you guys are here, if you could like the stream, really, really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitch and subscribe. I have to say that all the time because when I edit the clips, it just makes it easier. Anyway, okay, so one more thing, and then maybe we'll do a little chat. How old is he? I don't know, probably in his 30s or something. I feel like when I use my camera videos are a little bit better because I use graphics and stuff, which I need to start doing. I know I was using my camera a lot for my videos, my TikTok videos, but I stopped doing it. I need to start doing it again. Anyway, so, the Proud Boys, Enrique Torrio was snitching. Proud Boys real at report leader was a rat. Real at report leader? I don't know, what the fuck does that mean? They're trying to take down the Proud Boys, our beacon of light, a fan wrote on Telegram. See you soon. After Reuters broke the news, the Enrique Torrio, 36, the current chairman of the Proud Boys, was a prolific police informant. Really? Online supporters and members of the right-wing extremist group were defiant, suspicious, and in disbelief at the revelation that their leader was reportedly a rat. Hate rats, man. On Telegram, a popular messaging app, the far-right reaction to the story came hard, fast, and varied. Some believe this was a classic case of a fake news smear campaign, while others said his treachery was an all it. Hold on. Hard and fast varies. Some believe this was a classic case of a fake news smear campaign, while others said his treachery was an all-in attempt to counter the deep state and anti-fascist activists. I'm surprised they didn't like just say, oh, well, he's brown. Of course not. He doesn't have Western values or whatever horse shit they say. Snitches get stitched. Yeah, I mean, even us on the left, man, we don't tolerate that snitching stuff. It just figures though, like the Mr. Tough guy is like some FBI informant, you know. Enrique has my support as the leader of the Proud Boys, period, said one supporter in a Telegram exchange with other Torrio supporters. Another user was skeptical at the news. Is this fact or fake news? I never pegged Enrique as an informant. They're trying to take down the Proud Boys, our beacon of light. We won't let this happen, so no worries, wrote another Proud Boy fan. But former prosecutor in Miami involved in Torrio's case confirmed to Reuters that Torrio... Oh, so this isn't fake news, definitely. That Torrio has unquestionably been a key informant in both FBI and local police investigations. He cooperated with local and federal law enforcement to aid in the prosecution of those running other separate criminal enterprises, said Vanessa Tsai. Johannes, in a statement, ranging from running marijuana grow houses in Miami to operating pharmaceutical fraud schemes. Yeah, that's big in Florida. In Florida, when I used to live down there, they had all these things they called them pill mills. Basically, you just like go in there and you're like, oh, my back hurts, and they take an x-ray, you pay like $400, and they give you 150 Roxys, you know what I mean, every month. And that's like what all the drug dealers do. But they shut them all down for the most part, like back in like 2012, 2013. But they still pop up every once in a while, because Florida has real lax laws on that shit. Or at least they used to. I don't know about now, but I mean, they did the last time I lived down there. In a court transcript from a 2014 proceeding in Miami, an FBI agent and Torrio's own lawyer clearly stated that he was an undercover for authorities, helping gather evidence in cases that ultimately prosecuted over a dozen people. So yeah, he was a full-on snitch. It just figures, man. These guys, God, they're always such LARPers. But you know, that kind of goes with their we love the police, we are, you know, kind of their shtick, I guess, being informants. But you know, they're supposed to be like these big bad tough guys going out and beating up Antifa every weekend, or I guess on the weekend during the week he's an informant, and then on the weekend he's looking for 12-year-olds in Antifa to beat up. I'm in Florida. They're still lax. Lots of pill mills here in Central Florida. Yeah, Central Florida, and then like down in Miami and stuff. They're usually like in them little shopping malls, and they'll just like have one word. It'll say clinic, and you're like, oh, know what that is. And then seen them places before. Snow was cool. Like Jon Snow. Am I Canadian? No. I don't know if you're talking to me, but I'm not Canadian. I live in Minnesota. Don't you know? But I used to live in Tampa, Florida. Originally, straight out of Tampa. I got bots? What? Big followers, prime and views. Ooh. I want primes and views. Fucking bots. Want to become famous? Not really. Fucking I don't know what it is. For some reason on my YouTube and on my damn Twitch lately, especially on YouTube, you get like these weird like like Asian girl messages. Like it's like these weird Asian girl bots, and it's like, oh, me want a husband, and then I'll put like a timestamp. It's not so much anymore, but like for like 2 weeks, like all my I like see comments on my video, because like YouTube, like if you're a creator, there's an app you can get, and it'll show you like when comments pop up on your videos. It like kind of puts them all in a category, and I would see like these comments from just weird Asian bots, man. I don't understand it. It's stupid. But okay, so yeah. Next segment. Remember to like the stream, by the way. Also, follow me on Twitch, because eventually I'm going to be moving over to just Twitch for the live streams, just FYI. Probably in like a month, maybe. So, if you like me, follow me over there, because I'm trying to get to trying to get to partner on Twitch. I got to average like, I think you got to average something like 60 or 65 viewers. And if you become partner, then, you know, you get like a better revenue split and you get access to more shit. But that's about what I average in my lives, is like 60, 65 people right now between both. So I'm hoping to grow on that and then move over to Twitch. But maybe in like a month, I might be moving over there full time. Just FYI. For the live streams, I'll always be making YouTube content. But anyway. So yeah, make sure you follow me on Twitch. Anyway, so for some reason, I don't know if you guys have seen this. For some reason, the right is going after Biden for his executive orders, because Biden has been killing it with the executive orders. I think he's done like 25 so far. And I just want to go over a couple of them because I saw this article and they're all just extremely popular. Like, this is extremely popular legislation that he's passing for the most part. So if anybody wants to come at you with the, oh, Biden's just, you know, passing a bunch of far left radical ideas through socialism executive orders, it's like, no, these are extremely popular plans and things, because the GOP is a bunch of nutcase fascists and they don't want to work with him on anything. So he has to govern by executive order for now, even though he could get them stimmy checks out, but that's another rant for another day. But let's just check out how popular his executive orders have been. Blow this up a little bit. Oh, shit. Yeah. I don't know what this is. Okay. Twitch is great. Twitch is great. I'm not too loved yet. What? I got, like, sometimes I look at the comments and I'm like, wait, they're not talking to me. Okay. Anyway, so this is the Biden executive orders that he's passed, prohibiting workplace discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Yeah, it's such a far left idea there. 83% support, 64% from the GOP. And this is oppose. So I love that 34% of the GOP is like discrimination based on race and gender. Fuck yeah, man. Love that stuff. That stuff's great. Just inject it into my veins. Anyway, yeah. Committing to a government-wide focus on racial equity. 77% support. 52% of the GOP. Oh, no crazy socialist policies there. Requiring masks on federal property. 75%. Even 54% of the GOP agrees on that. I need to know which 54, because it seems like everybody on that side of the aisle seems to like hate masks because socialism or something. Continuing suspension of federal student loan payments. 68% support. Even 46% of the GOP. Grant. Continuing a ban on evictions. 66% support. Restarting DACA program. That one, it dips a little bit. Only 33% of the GOP supports that, but it's got a 65% overall rating. Like, these are very popular things. Rejoining the World Health Organization. 65%. or 62%. Only 29% for the GOP. I don't understand. I mean, I guess because of Trump. Trump kind of pushed the talking point on that one. Re-examining Trump's policies on public health and the environment. 57%. Allowing non-citizens to be continued to be counted in the U.S. census. 56%. And that one's pretty much all, as you can see there, 81% of the GOP oppose that. I mean, that's like, even though they're not citizens, like they still live somewhere. They still live here. So they have to be counted because the census is important for directing resources. I mean, they're still humans just because they're not citizens. Like, I swear, man, these people read Camp of the Saints and they consider these people like subhuman or something. Ending new wall construction on the U.S.-Mexico border, 53%. God, I can't believe that the wall is that popular, man. Freaking 80% of people oppose that. A freaking wall that is not going to do anything to mitigate their hatred of... They're all in on that wall, though. And then... Where are we at? Any new wall construction? Any of the ban on travel from U.S. from some primarily Muslim and African nations, 52%. Like, these are all majority popular positions, except for the last two. Enacting a moratorium on drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, which I really hate that climate change. Like, I'm thinking about, I don't know if you guys follow Plastic Kate or whatever. I'm thinking about asking her to come on. Because she's doing a documentary about climate change and like what we need to do. And I just feel like not enough people talk about that. And even I'm kind of ignorant on a lot of the aspects. Like, once you get into the weeds of it on, better ways and things we need to do as far as climate change. Because it's just like, it's boring. Like, people just don't really get into it. You know what I mean? Like, we all know climate change is bad. But when it comes to